Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and compare the Apple Watch Series 8 and the Apple Watch Series 5 and see which specific Apple Watch is the better one for you. Now, obviously, it's quite obvious the Apple Watch Series 5 is a little bit of an older watch and it doesn't keep up quite well to the Series 8, but to be honest, this year's iPhones and, Apple Watches and all these things were kind of lackluster in a few different ways. So if you currently already own a Series 5, I would probably recommend keeping it for another generation. In fact, I have a Series 4 Apple Watch that I still use on an everyday basis, and I don't even think I plan on upgrading to any of these newer watches. But if you want to pick up either one of these watches, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these watches, they have a little bit of a different screen size layout. They're kind of the same, but there's obviously some differences. With the Apple Watch Series 5, we have a 40mm and a 44mm casing, where the Apple Watch Series 8 has a little bit of a bigger display. It has a 41mm and a 45mm casing. Kind of the same thing. There's not really that big of a difference, but, the Series 5 isn't really that far off from the Series 8, if I'm being honest. Now, on top of this, they kind of also support the same bands as well. So this is a really cool thing. If you're currently owning something like an Apple Watch Series 5 and you do plan on going up to the Series 8, you will actually be able to support the same type of bands, which is actually really, really cool. So in terms of that kind of covers it up on the front. The side buttons are pretty much the exact same thing. They're placed in the same spots as well. And on the back, they have a little bit of a different design on the Series 8, but they're both almost identical as well. And there's not really too many differences on the back. They support the same wireless charger as well. So luckily, Apple hasn't changed that yet. They probably will at some point, but they haven't done it yet, which is really cool. So in terms of the outside, that kind of covers it up. There's not really too much of a difference there. Now with the display, it does go up to 1000 nits of brightness, which is really cool. So you have that type of capability, which is awesome. On top of that, you do actually have an always on display on both displays as well. So that was something that's really cool. Unfortunately, the SEs don't have it, but every watch since the Series 5 does have it. It originated on the Series 5. So I'm really, really happy we have that type of capability on these watches as well. Now, when it comes down to the features, they both kind of share a lot of the same features. Personally, I don't think I would go from a Series 5 to a Series 8 unless you wanted to take advantage of 2 or 3 of these features. So the temperature sensor, there is no temperature sensor on the Apple Watch Series 5. So unfortunately, we don't have the capability on the Series 5, but we do have it on the Series 8, which is really awesome. We also have emergency SOS satellite mode on the and crash detection and fall detection on the Series 8, where on the Series 5, we have the emergency SOS mode and fall detection. So not a crazy big deal, but it is one of those things to keep in mind as well. Now, they both also have the same capacity inside as well. So what I mean by that is basically the same storage capacity. You're really not going to be getting more storage on the one or the other. So realistically speaking, there are so many similarities. Now, we are also getting water resistance up to 50 meters, but we are getting dust resistance on the Apple Watch Series 8, which I think is really, really awesome. Now, beyond that, some other key differences. With the Apple Watch Series 8, we do have a fast charge time, so it's basically a faster charging experience on the Series 8 over the Series 5, but honestly, if you're utilizing basically and you can also do a ECG app, you can utilize the ECG app on the Series 8 as well, which is really cool, but personally, the features that I would normally use on an Apple Watch, things like, checking notifications, iMessages, phone calls here and there, maybe, answering a FaceTime call on my watch, it doesn't have a camera, so we can only do audio. Those are like the main things I would probably keep in mind with the Series 5, and probably why I would be content with the Series 5. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm still rocking my Series 4 that I've been using for about 2 years, and I don't really think I would go and upgrade to the Series 8 just from a Series 5, but that's why there are other, options available. The main thing why I would probably recommend, the only reason I would go and recommend to going from a 5 to an 8, beyond than just the temperature sensor and all those other things, you are getting some newer chipsets. So you're getting the S8 chip inside, you're getting the U1 chip, and you're getting that W3 wireless chip inside of the Series 8. You do have the W3 wireless chip on the Series 5 as well, but that is another advantage for the Series 8. But also, you are getting, a watch that's going to last a longer amount of time too. So if you wanted a watch that's going to last, for many, many years to come, the Series 8 is probably going to be the better one for you. That doesn't mean it's going to be like the perfect one for everybody, but it is another advantage that you have. And honestly, to kind of, get to the bottom of this, I would kind of look at yourself and be like, hey, do I do anything on my Series 5 that I wish I, could do on like my Apple Watch? Things like the temperature sensor, is your Apple Watch too slow? Different things like that. If your answer is yes, well then maybe it'll make sense to go and update to the Series 8. But beyond that, I think, as long as your Apple Watch is supported, you're still going to be in a really good situation. So currently I would still recommend probably keeping your Series 5. It's not a crazy big difference like I mentioned, but it is a cool thing that you have that ability on the Series 5. That it's such a cheap watch now that, it's available all over the place. The Series 8 was a pretty small upgrade from the Series 7, but, if you're in the market, if you have the money, go for it. But I'm still okay with the Series 4, so I think the Series 5 is probably already good too. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button on me so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.